Welcome everyone, welcome to Farkin Gaming. So this castle right here, this isn't a dramatic I moved everything after almost 2,000 hours of gameplay story. This is a why am I making my life harder than it needs to be story. After playing Pax Dei for a long time, I realised I was doing the same thing over and over again, and there was a much smarter way to be setting myself up. If you saw my last castle tour, this is not that castle. That base was solid, I liked it, there was nothing wrong with it. But over time, the people I was playing with, they started to log in less and less, and without even really noticing it, my playstyle had shifted almost entirely into PvP. I was spending most of my time in PvP land, and every single hour I was doing this loop. PvP, map home, run all the way back to my castle, dump my stuff, then head straight back to PvP. And at some point it just clicked. Why am I doing this when I don't need to be? So instead of abandoning everything or doing something drastic, I made a simple decision. I ditched the old castle and I built a new one right next to the Pax Dei shrine. Now when I map home, I literally just step off the ledge and I'm in my house. Dump loot, turn around, straight back to PvP. This setup completely removes friction. No wasted grace, no long runs, no feeling like half your session is travel time. And when you're someone who lives in PvP zones pretty much most of the time, this just makes sense. This castle is intentionally simple. One plot holds everything important, storage, crafting, everything I actually care about. Everything else is just aesthetic. I enjoy building, so I let myself have fun with it. If this plot disappeared tomorrow, I wouldn't lose progression, and that's by design. I guess I'll bring you inside and show you around. We're at the Pax Dei now, and this main tower that we see in front of us is my main plot. It's also the only plot that I have that auto-renews, and I have a 2-plot subscription and one grace plot. So the theory behind it is this is the only plot that I set to auto-renew, and this is where I keep all of my storage, essentially. So if anything happens, I happen to something, I don't know, I get caught away on business or something, and it's right when the plots renew, I don't lose everything because of a simple admin error. So, here's the first area. It's what I call the processing room. It's where everything gets dumped on my runs from PvP lands back. You'll notice that I've left that tree in there. I don't fight the trees. It grows through stuff. It sucks, but you can make it work to your advantage. Use it as part of your design features, not something just growing out in the room. So, first area is a carpentry station. So if you ever get super desperate, I can just chop that down, which I've done a couple of times, with the chests for storage. And then the next level up is where my tailoring station is, with all the looms, additional chests, just to help store stuff while I'm making and doing a bit of blitz on trying to level. Next level up is leatherworking, all my tanning racks, storage and tables, along with fletching as well, because that just makes sense to include into leatherworking because they sort of align quite a lot. And this next area was where I was going to put my weaponsmithing, blacksmithing and armorsmithing tables, but I just haven't got around to it yet. And then the top floor is just for the views, right next to Pax Dei. Just looks good. You can see what the other clan across the road there is doing. Monolith is not my clan, and that is a different clan across the road there as well. Alright, so heading down to the second tower. They're all linked together, and this is where currently my weaponsmithing tables are and blacksmithing tables, but I'm going to eventually move those. This is all still part of one plot, my first plot, and then my alchemy and jewellery tables. I haven't really done much work on this area. Like I said, I like the high ceilings. I like it to be big and open. I don't need to jam pack everything in because this cliff structure is built on a cliff. there's multiple levels. And then heading on down is where I've done all my cooking stuff, baking, cooking, and the charcuterie butchering tables, storage. So if we just continue heading down, well there, just why not? Second tower across the road there, and there's several ways of getting to that. Straight across to the roof. But you can also access it through the second walkway that I've built. Again, just playing with ideas, get back up that way. A little second alleyway across. It's fun. Where I keep my furnaces, I just like to keep the smoke from the furnaces away from anywhere that I'm working and doing stuff, because it just gets annoying when you can't see when you're trying to use a crafting table. And then this is my charcoal kilns, obviously. I love this idea of spiraling them up like this. It's really a space saver. You can get so many more furnaces in this space doing it this way, and if I was a bit more smart about it, I could probably have put a spiral on the left and the right and had two sets, but it's not needed. Heading on down to the base floor, again, like I said, I like big open spaces. I like it to be big and open. Gives it that feeling of grandeur, I guess. And then down here, we are now into my second plot. So this way, these are all wood. Nothing that's gonna, if it went tomorrow, I'm not gonna be too upset. I can just farm it. Pottery kilns, again, no, not too upset about those. They're easy to make. Heading on down to the lowest entrance on the ground floor, and we have a traveller out here. This is just the wood entrance, straight down to where you can gather some wood and stuff, which is a great, easy way to get some wood. And then we can head back up the left-hand side into the farm cottage. We'll just pop around the side here and go to the front entrance. So this is my grace plot at the front. And again, this is purely for aesthetics, because grace plots can't be auto-renewed. So if something happens and I forget to log in and renew it, you know, oh well. It's just my sandbox, my playground. Done a lot of gardening in here. Just quite like the little idea of having a play with that. I know it's probably not great on the graphics and FPS, but whatever, who cares? Yeah, so this is the little cottage. And then I've just built like little rooms wherever I can. So there's a little room up top there. I've got a little room stuck away in here. There's a room on top of the entrance down there. And then there's two little cottages up on the hillside there, tucked away too. Just for someone that doesn't pay a subscription that might want a base, they're more than welcome to, because these plots, I don't hold anything of value, so I can quite easily set them to public if I wanted to. I'm not attached to them. And then on the stairwell back to the very, very top, I have my little tower that I built, which I was just playing with a 3x3 tower option, which I quite like the look of, and I'll probably reuse in another build somewhere else. And yeah, that's pretty much my tower as it stands now. Like I said, it's only really the top one, the main sort of tower at the back there, that holds anything of value that I use most of the time, and the rest is just purely for aesthetics. And this is that third tower. Goes down and goes up. There's nothing in this tower. This is just purely for playing around and seeing what I can build and how high I can build, see what I can squeeze into spaces. And this is where I started to play with those walkways and skywalks between the two, just to see what was possible. Although I'd be interested with the new updates where some of the structural integrities have changed, and that could affect how high we can build. I'm quite excited to test those out. So this one here is a little walkway through to this other tower where my charcoal is. So walkway through from the sort of aesthetics tower through to where I actually do my stuff.
Now, separately from this, I've also joined a much more PvP focused clan, Banished Knights. I don't get to PvP with him as much as I would like during the week. I'm in New Zealand and they're mostly in the US, but weekends, public holidays, days off, that's where this really comes alive. And that's why I'm now considering the next step. I'm now seriously looking at removing this second home entirely and moving everything permanently into PvP lands with the clan. That's something I'll be starting very shortly. I'll probably do a follow-up once that transition happens. I'm still debating whether I'll leave just a grace plot perhaps in PvE land. Maybe move to Tolosa. I'm currently in Gravos, where I can just be closer to the clan members' bases. This video was about showing the setup and the thinking behind it. The next video is where I'll break down the actual tips and tricks, plot management, PvP efficiency, resources, and all the stuff I've learnt the hard way. If you enjoyed the tour, hit like, and I'll see you in the next one.